in 5 years, when I was Commissioner for Science and for Environment in the European Commission, I actually learned very much that environment is one of the strongest economic portfolios if you consider it and look it in the right way. And also the proposal which was done at the latest stage on the circular economy, many considered it as a kind of environmental proposal, but in essence it was more economic proposal with very good side effects on environment and on the human health. So I think it's really important that you understand that those things needs to be integrated and think through in a kind of a coherent way. So that's what we are also doing now in the International Resource Panel. So we tried to reconnect those economic thoughts with the thoughts which go with materials, natural scientists and natural science. You need to understand the decoupling process, resource efficiency, or green economy, or circular economy, or whatever you name it, in a way that is actually calling for the new approach in how we produce and consume our products. That we produce and consume them in much more responsible way in the context of resources, climate change, biodiversity, and everything which we have seen as a kind of side effects. One of the conclusions which came from the work of International Resource Panel, it's interesting, it's that in the midterm it will not be, except in specific cases, the resource shortage which will actually limit our economic activity, but it will be more environmental consequences, health consequences created by this irresponsible use of resources and having the effects on all the things which I mentioned before. So I think it's really important to understand that we are not there to provide a kind of recipes. It's important that people do understand that producing the products in a resource efficient way, if you want, does not only make sense from macroeconomics, preserving the things, environmental story, it also makes the sense from a pure economic interest. So all the things which we have done on the macro modeling are basically showing that economic effect, if you go that way, it's positive. And that it makes all economic sense that the companies are turning in that direction. And many are turning in that direction. But you have also to understand that on the other hand, European economy, for example, it's a mature economy. So there is a lot of vested interests, a lot of stranded assets and so on, which are not so easy to change, even if they are in a way locked to the old traditional way of production and consumption. I have faced that reality and that this is pretty human because each one considers its own work as an important part, and that's why you develop it, protect it. And it's not a coincidence that, for example, the electric car was developed by Tesla, not by major car producers, because they were locked in a way in a combustion engine and trying to really improve it, and they have done a lot. But the revolutions, or I would say the step changes of the systems do come many times from the outside. So yeah, in short, I think this cooperation should and could always be better. I think we need to understand that we live in a complex world, and how to translate these complex messages in simple messages enough that they would be understood.